Well, Good Morning Idaho is sitting down with Optum Idaho and members of our community for Optum Community Matters. Joining me today is Dr. Dennis Woody with Optum Idaho and Ann Padilla with the Boise Hive. Thank you so much for being here, both of you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, of course. So, Ann, I want to start with you. The Boise Hive, what exactly is that and what brought about its creation?
The Boise Hive is a very unique combination of mental health and music. We started out, actually this year is our 10th anniversary, and we focus primarily on buying our building that we're in. That's at 3907 Custer Drive up on the bench. And where it came about was for musicians realizing that their community desperately needed certain mental health issues to be addressed, such as suicide, sobriety, and anything else under that. But our main goal is to combine prevention of suicide with musicians, and I feel like we're all a little bit of a musician, so that includes all of us. We all dabble in something, if not listening to or singing, or music somehow helps all of us. So it really is a service to the community, not just to musicians.
Yeah.
The one thing we do provide is rehearsal space at a very cheap rate, at a very reasonable rate per hour. We have 4 big, large studios, not one not so large studio, but works well for a drummer. So we provide rehearsal space. We provide a live stream on Saturday nights called the Live at the Hive.
Oh,
and
cool.
Live at the Hive you can see on Facebook or YouTube, and it's actually a live show for local musicians. Our goal is not to bring in the best musicians, but the goal is to bring in people who need a chance to want a chance to be on stage.
Oh, nice.
So the thing that they get to, when they record at on it, like in a Live at the Hive show, they get to keep that tape of themselves. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah, we started out with veterans. Veterans really started a lot of the programs there with the Veterans Jam It Out night, and now we have 2 such programs. And then mental health has taken its way in there as well.
Great. And let me ask you about that. What or how exactly does the Boise Hive work to improve behavioral health here for Treasure Valley residents?
Well, we like to think of ourselves as a community center where anybody could come in and hang out. We get parents who are waiting there for their kids having music lessons. But it's also, we offer counseling. We offer social workers who can help people get on Medicaid. We offer collaborations with different agencies such as Optum here, and programs. So we have a recording program. We have a Sober Curious program where it's a harms reduction based idea of quitting back on alcohol. There's nothing like it in Boise. We're starting a children's program or a teens program called Mindful Melodies, which we're grateful to Optum for supporting us in that. And that's just bringing kids, regardless if they play an instrument or not, together to talk about their music. As a young teen at Boise High, one thing that really drove me together with my community was a music community. And so actually it was somebody who pulled me in from my high school days and said, Ann, this is what we should be doing. This is what we can do in the community. So what I like to think is that we provide a place where people can come together as a community. And you'll see multi-generational families there watching their kids, from 3-year-olds with the big headphones on, to grandparents who want to see their high school student perform and that sort of thing.
It sounds like a great place. Awesome.
Yeah.
Dr. Woody, I want to ask you about this, and this is something I had not heard about before, but music therapy. Who would you say can benefit from that?
That's a great question, Matt. I think the truth is all of us could benefit from music therapy. It comes in so many varieties, and the characteristics of music are such that a guess is 99% of the human population likes music.
Sure.
Not everybody, but most folks do. And music does something to us, and it's a remarkable phenomenon, particularly when we're engaged with other people associated with that music. We can actually measure different brain chemistries in folks who are singing, especially impromptu singing or improvisational singing. A sense of relaxation, a sense of community and wellness. And so therapeutically, I think all of us use music to some degree. But music therapy in the formal sense is really using the elements of creativity and music to assist in managing, at least from a mental health standpoint, assist in managing a person in dealing with challenges across the spectrum of issues.
Okay, gotcha. So let's kind of get into what exactly it is and what happens during music therapy.
Well, I think if you follow a formal music therapeutic track, you could find anything from interpretation of lyrics to listening to music to playing music to even dancing with music, a variety of different elements, components that are combined. Sometimes you would do one or the other, or sometimes more than one. It is the capacity for music to take us away from stressors that we're encountering on a day-to-day basis that really seems to have a restorative effect.
Yeah, great. Sounds like, I mean, something I believe anybody and everybody can do. Because, like you said, I'd say 99% of people do enjoy music, so I'm just kind of breaking it down.
It's true, and I think the definitively cool thing, if that's a term to use, about the Hive is that it approaches young adults and adolescents with a natural medium. Music is a big part of most teenagers' lives and young adults, so I think it's just a wonderful way to open the door to self-understanding and feeling better.
Great. Now, Ann, let me get back to you for a second, because music therapy, it sounds great. I've never really heard of it before you two came in and were telling me about this. If anybody was interested, no matter what their age would be, what would be the best way, would you say, to find a provider or classes?
Well, that's one thing I wanted to clarify is we serve all ages. One thing I didn't get to say before is that we are a sober community.
Oh, great.
But if you wanted to get involved with the Hive in any capacity, such as being behind the scenes on a Saturday night show, or if you wanted counseling specifically for something that's going on in your life, or you're interested in one of our groups, we're starting a Survivors of Suicide group. You reach out to thrive@boisehive.org, and someone would get back to you as soon as possible.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you know, from Optum's standpoint, anyone could go to the optumidaho.com website and look up in our directory of clinician providers and look at the types of therapy that they might be inclined to want to use. And many therapists who aren't officially credentialed as music therapists will use music as a component of their treatment. So,
good to know. Okay, great. Now, a little fun one here. I wanted to ask both of you, if you were attending a music therapy session, what would you say might be the song that you hope to hear, or maybe something that you is still a go-to for you, just to get into a better mood, perhaps?
I'll let you go first.
Well, I've been thinking about this because part of my Mindful Melodies project is first being a facilitator with interns.
Okay.
And so the start would be us presenting music to them. And we have quite a few examples, but one thing that came to my mind early this morning was a Jonathan Richman song. Jonathan Richman was and is still around, is a performer who performed with Modern Lovers, and it's a song called Roadrunner, Roadrunner, and it's just an early punk song that's got a lot of movement and excitement, and just makes me happy just listening to it. Gives me lots of energy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll have to look for that.
Yeah, me too.
He's still around, yes.
You know, I think I would go more traditional and say the Lennon-McCartney writing team for Let It Be. It's kind of reflective, and it enables you to take it easy for a while and kind of assess your life, and I like that. I think that's good for all of us.
There will be an answer. Let it be.
That's right.
Nice. For myself, I was thinking about that as well. Probably my favorite song of all time that most people wouldn't expect, that always just puts me in a good mood. What a Fool Believes by the Doobie Brothers. For some reason, I was just like, oh, so poppy, so fun.
Yeah.
So everybody has theirs, and I mean, I believe almost everybody can just name a song that just puts them in a good mood. So music therapy, it's real. And on that note, I wanted to ask you, Dr. Woody, about the benefits. What would you say the benefits of music therapy are?
Well, I think that many people who engage in music therapy acquire the goals or accomplish the goals thereafter, and it covers a lot of different things, whether it's anxiety and depression or pain management or issues related to dependency, whether you're using substances. Those sorts of things are readily addressed in music, and I think that the entire spectrum of different mental health considerations are available and impacted by therapy from a musical perspective.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, there's so many different kinds of therapies, and there's always one for somebody.
Yeah.
There's always some that works better for certain people, so it's good to hear about another one, especially with something like music that really everybody loves. So.
Can I just add?
Yes, please.
An example that's pretty common in facilities here in Boise, and we were doing one ourselves at the Boise Hive, is a drum group. So I really wanted to learn an instrument, and I took on the conga and opened it up, and other drum groups from across the city found us, because nobody really wants to have it at their house, right? So they come to our largest studio, and by the end of, this was pre-COVID, doing this, I had about 30 members.
Wow. And
what I think is really amazing and fun about it was the kinesthetic, like the crossing both sides of your brain, because you're thinking of a pattern, so you're using your entire brain and you're using your body. And in that way, it facilitates just good mental health overall.
Gotcha. Great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been very enlightening. Is there anything else either of you wanted to add about this subject, or anything else people should know?
I just want you to know how much we appreciate the opportunity to kind of convey an alternative to the traditional thoughts about, what is therapy about for emotional issues. Thank you.
Great.
And even though we've been around for 10 years, we're still getting the word out, and we're still, we have primarily been an all-volunteer organization. We're super thankful for our volunteers and our board members. We have grown very slowly, like most nonprofits do, but we want everyone to know that we're there, and we're going to continue to be there. Our neighbors love us, which you wouldn't think of, that our neighbors would really like us, but we do a great job of soundproofing our rooms, and just that we're there and ready to serve folks and have a wide variety of ways that people can get involved.
Fantastic. And on that note, how about if you both want to throw out a couple websites for people to go to visit?
Sure. BoiseHive.org is out there, and it explains a lot of our programs. We actually based our program on another program in the United States in Athens, Georgia, called Nucci Space, that does something different, kind of the same thing, but a little bit different. So I just think people should really reach out to this unique opportunity and know about it. because there's so many ways that they can get involved. You know, one way is just by bringing your kids on a Saturday night to a sober environment to watch a band, and it doesn't cost anything. So really we're trying to provide a community center that addresses what people you know are doing with themselves with music.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great time. And for Optum?
I guess I would throw out there the optumidaho.com and take a look at the pull-down tab for Live and Work Well. It offers a variety of different considerations for everyone from children through elder adults.
Perfect. All right, easy enough. All right, well, joining me today, of course, have been Dr. Dennis Woody with Optum Idaho, as well as Ann Padilla with the Boise Hive. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank
Thanks
you for
having
having
us.
us. Yes.